Hello guys, you're welcome once again to the channel. So for our returning subscriber, we say a very big thank you, and then if you're just tuning in, please kindly subscribe to the channel. So in today's tutorial, I'm going to be making a flayed short or a knicker. So this is basically what we're going to be doing. So from this top part now, go ahead and measure 3.5 inches randomly. Just go ahead and measure it on the top of your paper like this. So this is me just basically drawing this measurement so that I will have a straight line on that part. So after you're done with that, on the other part of this, you go ahead and measure 3. That is on the part you can see me measuring now. Just go ahead and measure 3. So let's just give it a little time, then this will be clear. So on the top part where I had 3.5, I'm going to go ahead and rule this out. Then on the lower part as well, I'm going to go ahead and rule my 3 inches as well. So I'll be ruling that of the 3 inches first. So that line is for the 3 inches. So please take note of that, guys. Then on the other side, above it here, I'll be measuring the 3.5 inches. Then I'll give this a connect like this. So this is me just basically labeling this. I'm sorry you could not see that part clearly. So I have 3.5 inches above, then I have 3 inches on the side like this. So having done this now, I went ahead to extend these lines. So as you can see, I extended this down the pattern paper and then to the other edge of the pattern paper. So now what I'm going to be doing is I'll be dividing my waist circumference by 3. So I'm working with a waist of 30 inches. I'll be dividing this by 3, then I'll be having 10 inches. So I'm going to be marking 10 inches from the first line I had there. I'll go ahead and measure that 10 inches and give a mark, demarcating where my 10 inches stopped. So go ahead and do the same thing for the other side as well. Mark your 10 inches randomly. So after you are done with this now we're going to give this a curve, just like we do for when making a flay. So just go ahead and measure that 10 inches randomly like this, as you can see me doing. So I'll just go ahead and measure it. So after you're done with this now, we're going to be using our pencil to connect this together. Keep in mind that I'm still going to be using the marker to make this more visible, but I always prefer to work with a pencil so I can erase any mistake I have right there. So just go ahead and keep measuring. So after you're done with that, we're going to be using our pencil to blend all this together. So sorry, my pencil was kind of not visible. That's why I'll be using my card to mark this out for us to see this clearly. So keep in mind that I marked 10 inches to form a circle or a semicircle. So just go ahead and mark that on your pattern paper as well. So this was what I had after I was done. Now I'll make this more visible with my marker pen. So just go ahead and trace on what you already have with your pencil. Now this is what we had after we are done with that. Now that we are done with this, we're just basically going to measure our crotch line. So for mine, I'm going to be using a crotch of 10 inches. So you can go ahead and measure what crotch measurement you have for yours and then mark it on that part. So I'm working with a crotch of 10 inches. So we'll just go ahead and mark that 10 on this part where I have 3.5, and on the other part where I have 3 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark my 10 inches, which is my crotch measurement. So why am I actually now for the waist, I did 30 inches divided by 3 because this trouser is not going to be it's not going to have an elastic band. So if you're working with an elastic band, go ahead and use your hip measurement divided by 3 instead of your waist measurement. I hope this is clear, guys. So I just wanted to make that part clear in case you are working with an elastic casing for your waist. So I'm going to be using a zipper. That's why you can see me measuring my waist divided by 3. So now on this part, I just went ahead to measure my crotch, then I'm going to connect it like this in order to have that crotch curve. So this is what I had. Just go ahead and blend a curve into this line from the 3.5 and then from the 3 inches you measured. So I'm using the curvy part of my curve to blend this curve out. I really hope this is clear, guys. But in case you have any question, please don't forget to leave your questions in the comment section. I'll be here to reply our questions. Alright, so this was what I had now. So I went ahead to input my crotch measurement on both sides. Now we're going to be working on the length. As you can see, I went ahead to add to the other side of the pattern paper because I have a shortage. So the length of this trouser shirt I'm going to be working with is actually 20 inches. So I don't have up to 20 inches on the other side. That's why you see me using the tape to join on the other part so that I can have a total of 20 inches on that part as well. So I'll just go ahead and connect this together. I'm really sorry for the sounds if they are kind of disturbing. So this is just me basically marking that 20 inches randomly. So just go ahead and mark your length. So whatever length you have, just go ahead and mark it as you can see me doing. So just carefully connect this together. So after I'm done measuring now this is the other part of it that I added some pattern papers to. So I'm going to just go ahead and measure that same 20 inches, which is my length on this part as well. So just go ahead and do the same thing for yours. Now after we are done with this, we are going to be connecting these lines together with our pencil before we go in with our marker. So don't forget to mark this on your crotch line as well. Go ahead and just connect your 20 inches randomly. So guys, now after we are done with this, like I said, we'll go ahead and connect it, then use our marker pen to make this more visible. Then I'm going to go ahead to cut this out for us to see. So guys, this was what I had after I was done with that. So as you can see, I went ahead to trace it with a pen to make this visible for us. So this is just me showing you the 20 inches, so you can go ahead and confirm that you have the length you measured randomly on all sides, both the 3 inches part and then 3.5 part. So the 3.5 part is the back of this trouser, while the 3 inches is the front. So I'm just going to note this out for us, although I'll still go ahead and label this for us to see. So for the down part of the trouser, this actually depends on how you want it to be. So if you want the down part to not be too big, you can go ahead and just give this a slant, as you can see me doing. But if you are fine with how big it is, you can just go ahead and mark a straight line. So this was what I wanted this to be like. So as you can see, this is how I'm going to be marking it out. So I just have a little removed from it. So if you want this to be totally small, you can go ahead and slant it inwards. So I'll just go ahead and cut this out now. So guys, take your time while cutting this. Then I'll go ahead and cut for the upper part as well. So please pay attention to how I'm cutting this, guys. So as you can see, I'm cutting on the crotch part as well. I'm going to be cutting all the parts that are not needed out, so please pay good attention while cutting this. So this is what I had after I was done cutting. Like I said, the part I have for 3.5 will be the back, and then the part with 3 inches will be the front. So I'm just going to be folding this into two like this in order for me to get the midpoint of this. So I'll just fold it like this. So go ahead and do the same for yours. Now I'll just press on this so that you can have your paper having a line in that part, so that part will serve as the middle of your pattern paper. Now after you're done with this, go ahead and fold this out again. So as you can see, I have a line in that part demarcating the center of this. So I'm going to go ahead and label now. So that this part will be my front. So I had to use a marker because the pencil was not really doing justice to it. So then that part will be the back. So again, this part will be the front, and then this part will be the back. So that's what I was trying to explain earlier, where I have the 3 inches will serve as the front, and then the 3.5 inches will serve as the back. So now this was what I had after I was done cutting that. So go ahead and do this for yours as well, guys. Now, like I said, we're going to be using a zipper for this. That is why you can see me using my exact waist measurement for this. So if you're going to be working with an elastic band, you're going to be using your hip measurement divided by 3 instead of my waist measurement divided by 3 for yours. So now I'm going to be adding my zip allowance to this. So I'll just go ahead to measure 8 inches from that part now. Then I'll rule a straight line like this to hit. So from that part is where I'm going to be inserting my zip. Now I'm going to be adding 1 inch allowance to this part, so that I'm going to be using this to fix in the zip when I want to fix it. So just go ahead and do the same thing for yours, guys. But if you are not working with a zipper, it's just totally fine. You can go ahead to skip this part. So you don't need to add a zipper allowance if you're going to be working with your hip measurements. So I'll just go ahead and measure this 1 inch randomly since I'm using a zipper, and connect this together like this. Then blend it to my waistline. So while cutting now, I'm going to stop on that line, then cut above the zipper. So this will be clear in no time. So I've gone ahead to add my zipper allowance. So go ahead and do the same thing for yours, guys. Now please take note of how I'm going to be cutting this. So as you can see, I went ahead to cut on that part, but I left the 1 inch allowance. Then I went to cut on the crotch part, but I still took note of that 1 inch allowance. So now I'm just going to pin this together for us to be able to cut the whole flare out. So please take your time to pin this down, guys, so you don't have any shortage, especially on your zipper parts. So I'll just take my time to pin this down before I go ahead to cut this out. So guys, now I will go ahead and cut this out after I'm done pinning it down. So I'll be cutting on the waist and then on the length as well. So this was what I had after I was done with that. So I really hope you can see that there's a zipper allowance on this, and then on the other part there's no zipper allowance. So in the next video we're going to be joining these pieces together. So if you find this video helpful, please guys kindly subscribe to the channel, and then if you have a question, please don't forget to leave your questions on the comment section. So glad to really hear from you guys. Thanks for watching, guys.